was projected to be a very dreary day today, so I decided to brighten the mood and light a candle. In fact, I found this candle at a local trash dump. I cleaned it up, and boy oh boy did it smell divine. The candle had a cookie scent, and we all agreed that to us it smelled like Christmas. I think it just evoked this holiday feeling of coziness, family time, lots of food and laughter. So definitely brighten our mood quickly. On Saturday mornings, I usually, when we're at the farm, like to make biscuits and gravy for breakfast. But today I decided to go with buttermilk pancakes. These buttermilk pancakes are my copycat recipe for Cracker Barrel pancakes. When I say that they're the best, I truly mean it. They're not dense, they're not very dry. In fact, buttermilk make them very moist. And so we also picked some fresh blueberries we had in the fridge. So some kiddos like with blueberries, others like with blueberries and pecans. So I usually try to tailor to everybody's liking. At this point in the morning, my husband and kids have already left the house to do some chores with Bison, and I was making pancakes in peace and quiet. When we got to the farm, we noticed that our clock on the oven was blinking, suggestion that we must have had a power outage while we were gone, and none of us have taken the time to fix that issue. So it's much earlier in the morning, which we do like getting up early on Saturday because where we live, it gets so hot in July, August, that doing any kind of labor intensive tasks during the middle of the day can be pretty miserable. So we try to tackle them either early in the morning or later in the evening. With our pancakes, I like to serve some sort of meat, and I usually go for sausage because I can buy it pretty inexpensively about Aldi brand, and some kind of fruit. Right now, watermelon is in season, and my kids said that I did a good job picking it out because this one was really sweet. The house didn't stay quiet for long. The girls came in, fixed their plate, and the boys still had some chores to do outside, so they came in later. And boy, oh boy, everybody ate the pancakes. They were gone, but everybody was happy. The bellies were full, including our chickens. My youngest daughter wanted to go outside before it got too hot and see if we can harvest anything from our garden. It looks like deer is also enjoying a garden, but at least there's still sign of life with tomatoes and peppers and zucchini. While my kiddos are outside on the farm doing their chores and helping my husband out, I'll show you some treasures that I picked up this week. I picked up these two pillowcases right here from a store. It's kind of like, I guess it's Amazon pallet, where you dig through and all the items that particular day were $3 each. Well, these two were in a package together, so I paid $3 for both. And they're really nice and heavy duty. But I didn't have any pillows to put in. And I was like, I'll just wait. And sure enough, at Walmart, a few weeks later, this week, I found two of these pillows on clearance for $2.50 each. So let's see if this will work. The pillows fit perfectly, and so now I get to have inexpensive pillows on my couch. I rescued this bunny from trash dump this week, and I thought he was too precious to leave him behind. On the bottom it says, looks like somebody carved more, as in last name, 430. So I thought he was too precious, and I can definitely find room for him in my house. I picked up 4 of these jars, and I absolutely loved the color. Each one says the same. It's in French, and I don't know how to read French, so I'm not even going to attempt it. But it is made out of clay, and on the bottom it says microwave safe, oven safe, freezer safe. So I thought they were cute. I have 4 children, so this would be perfect to fill it up with some sort of snacks. And the color, this blue, beautiful color, is what sold me on these. I picked up this cute apron for $2. It says Nina right here, which my guess is the artist who made the print. I don't wear aprons often, but sometimes after church, when we're in a hurry, I'm trying to put lunch in the oven and I still have my church clothes on, I will put an apron on just so I can protect my church clothes from getting dirty. I picked up this tray for just $1. It was also came from my Habitat. I thought it was so cute. My plan is to put together a cookie sampler recipe to share with you guys around holidays. So I thought, how beautiful would this tray be filled with some delicious cookies? So I definitely grabbed it with thought that I can use it around holidays. For lunch, I'm making lazy cabbage roll. That's a Slavic recipe, and my family absolutely love it. What I love about this recipe is that it hides vegetables so well. My kids are not huge on vegetables, so this allows them to enjoy this dish without really realizing that it has lots of vegetables hidden in it. One way that I save money on meat in my family is I pick up meat that is manager special. So for example, this package was $6.93 and it was clearance for $4.16. As soon as I come home, I either make my meat, use it for a recipe that day, or I put it in the freezer, which this package was in the freezer. And this is something I've done since I was right out of college trying to pay off student loans as fast as possible. And for the last 18 years that I've been married to, I have done it very often. No judgment here, but the way I cook my rice is the way I cook my pasta. This way, my rice does not stick, does not overcook, and that's just how it works for me. How do you cook your rice? Do you use like rice cooker? Do you just cook it on the stove? Or do you do like I do, just cook it like pasta? I love using this method because my rice doesn't stick together and it doesn't feel like a mushy rice at the end. Growing up in Belarus, my mom made the real deal. She made the real cabbage rolls where she would take the cabbage leaves and you boil them and then you put the meat filling inside and then you cook it in the oven. And they were fantastic. But as a busy mom of four, I just don't always have the time to make the fancy meals. So this meal is so wonderful. Not only that it's healthy, it's hearty, my kids love it, it has hidden vegetables, but this dish also makes it for a wonderful make ahead meal. So that way when you are busy, when you are stressed and don't know what to cook because you just had a long day, tired mama, you can just pull it from the freezer, pop it in the oven, and in 40 minutes, your dish is ready. I also feel like this is very budget friendly kind of meal because if you want to stretch your meat a little further, you can add more rice to it. If carrots and onions are not your thing, you can also substitute with different kind of vegetables. You can really use your imagination, but traditional cabbage rolls are made with cabbage. You can also grate a little bit of onion. I just didn't have any on hand at that time, and carrots. I don't know about you, but sometimes I like to improvise on my recipes. Let me know in your comments if you do the same. I did not have any sour cream to add to my tomato paste, so instead I added some heavy whipping cream. Growing up in Belarus, I watched my mom make every meal from scratch. It didn't matter if she came home at 7 p.m. from a long day and then driving in public transportation for 40 minutes, she would make a dinner from scratch. Now, we didn't have the option of fast food or cereal or, going to a restaurant to pick up a to-go meal. In fact, growing up, I think the only time people would go to restaurants, and that was for adults only, was if somebody was to die for a funeral, got married, or maybe celebrated their like 50th birthday. That was it. So I really now as an adult appreciate it so much more just to see how much my mom worked hard during the day at her job just to come home and make a hearty meal for us. Her frugality and resourcefulness really impacted me as a young adult who, after college, my goal was to pay off student loans as fast as I could. That means living on a budget, living below my means, making food from scratch, stretching the dollar. And I really hope that my children, as they watch me do the same for my family now, would grow up as responsible adults who also, you know, cook for their family, stretch the dollar a little further, and be resourceful with their money. As a Depression era saying goes, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. I feel like our grandparents who lived through Great Depression would say, hey, if the bread is stale, make a pudding out of it. Hey, if the dish is cracked, glue it together. If the clothes are torn, patch it up. And I feel this kind of lifestyle is not just about saving money, but it's to help us stay connected, to remember where we come from, and to honor the hands that taught us how to do all this with very little, and to pass this craft, this art to our children.
I don't know how many perfect shots it'll take for me to express how good this is, but this is amazing. It's hearty, it's healthy, and on a rainy day, it's a perfect meal.
At this point in the day, the rain started to come down pretty good, and it was time for me to make dinner for us. And here I am with another discounted meat, but remember, you told me you weren't going to judge me on it. Honestly, y'all, I've been doing this for 18 years, and we have not had any issues. Nobody got sick. Like I said, I usually either cook it right away, which was the case for this pack of meat, or I freeze it right away as well. I wanted to make cube steaks in the crock pot for dinner, so it would be something easy where I can just kind of set it and forget it. So I usually start off by browning my meat. Then I add a little bit of spice that I absolutely love. It's a Russian spice for plov, but I actually use for other dishes just because I love how fragrant it is. And it is on my to-do list to show you how to make that spice so that way you can have it on hand in case you don't have a European store in your town that sells this spice. Although my people do not like eating onion, I still add it to the dishes because we do love onion flavor, and I feel like it elevates the dish to the next level. After getting my crock pot all set up, I had one more dish I wanted to do, and it's something my kids have asked me to make, and it's called sirniki. It's a Slavic dish. It's popular among countries of Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, and it's something my kids love to either have it for breakfast, sometimes they have it for snack, and sometimes having it for dessert. I buy my farmer's cheese at Publix, but I believe stores like Whole Foods carry them. Also, if you have a European store, they sell them there, but it's usually a little bit more pricey. A lot of dishes in Belarusian cuisine use farmer's cheese, from desserts to more savory dishes. So it's something that I buy usually in big quantities. I usually buy 8 bricks and then I just freeze it up.
If you have never tried sirniki before, this is your sign to try to make them. They are so delicious. My kids eat them not only for breakfast, but they also love it for snack. I have some kids who love it without any raisins. I have some who love with raisins. I personally like with raisins because raisins sweeten it a little bit. I also love the fact that it is healthy. Farmer's cheese has a lot of protein, and this particular recipe is not overly sweet, and you can control your sugar amount as well. So if you want to add more raisins, you can add less sugar.
If you cannot find farmer's cheese, it is easy to make and very inexpensive, but you can also use ricotta cheese. And if I had to describe the taste, it almost tastes like cheesecake after it sits in the fridge overnight.
Y'all, I picked up this cute dish at Habitat. It was $10, a little bit more than I would have liked to have spent, but I loved not only the decor on the top of the lid, it's very heavy, but I also love the fact that it did have lid. I make a lot of different kinds of pancakes, primarily Slavic. And so when we do have leftovers, I love the fact that I can just place them in this dish, cover it, and put it in the fridge.
Traditionally, we eat sirniki with either a little bit of jelly or also with sour cream. And the texture when it's hot is very different than a texture of when it is just came out of the pan. As I mentioned earlier, it reminds me of a cheesecake texture. So when it's hot, it's like what would be a hot cheesecake, right? But when we let it cool overnight, it becomes more dense. And that's the same thing with this dish as well. My kids love eating serniki just plain with a little bit of powdered sugar. By this point, cube steak was done. I made mashed potatoes to go with it and green beans. And so dinner was served. And let me tell you, it was so good. I love that this meat is so tender, it melts in your mouth. And with me buying it on clearance, this also made a very inexpensive meal for my family. After the rain, we had a few more projects to do outside, and picking goji berries was one of them. So my daughter was so sweet and wanted to help me. Then we also pulled some weeds. And before you know, it was time for bed. This mama was tired. Friend, if you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe button. And I cannot wait to share more budget-friendly